big news from the show trials yesterday. Oh, I'm sorry, the very serious January 6th hearings. I mean, they had their first big surprise witnesses, and then, that's normally what you get from a very serious trial, just somebody to come out from the rafters and, hey, just drop a bombshell on everybody. And boy, was her testimony very explosive, and there's still more to come because apparently this gimmick is supposed to continue into July for whatever reason. But this is like the most traction that this nonsense has gotten quite a long time at this point. So yeah, no, here's the big surprise witness, and boy, you do just a little bit of digging into what she had to say, and boy, does it fall apart. But we got to give the background, and this isn't exactly the nicest or even the most favorable photo of Cassidy Hutchinson right here, because hey, she's a nice young lady who even hey, was a part of the inner circle of Donald Trump. She worked in the State Department as a coffee fetcher for Mark Meadows, but she knew all of the inner workings and what was really going down during that Ellipse speech on January 6th, okay? The one that incited the insurrection or something like that. However, it's being spun right now. Don't really know, don't really care, and well, frankly, that's how you could also describe her understanding of the day. But Cassidy Hutchinson is expected to make a live appearance in the hearings. Yes, she did. And she was looking a little bit better than with, I don't know, her dad's fucking prom blazer. Like, what the hell is going on? Looking into the January 6 events, which saw Donald Trump supporters attack the U.S. Capitol, and unlike the attendees of Glastonbury Festival, actually cleaned up after themselves. Anyways, Hutchinson used to work for White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows. Oh my God, she must know everything. Cassidy Hutchinson is one of the witnesses who is expected to testify. Yeah. She works as the executive assistant. What does that mean? That's just fancy talk for the go-between. Okay. She took down some notes. Oh, okay, cool. Who is Donald Trump's chief of staff? Oh my God, her LinkedIn page her profile states that she's working at the White House's Office of Legislative Affairs in March of 2019 and was then promoted to the State Department, or to the chief of staff's office. Sorry, I don't need to say State Department, even though she'll probably get some sort of a staffing there after today's explosive testimony. Ever since Trump left office, the Washington Post reported that she is no longer a figure in Trump's orbit or the Republican politics. Okay, cool. Then how do you explain what Bloomberg says here? Okay, so this was after everything all went down. Okay, after Trump, after power had to be wrestled away from him, or he just left on Marine One and just went down to go live in Mar-a-Lago, right? I don't remember anything happening on January 20th. Nobody was really in attendance, and Bernie Sanders sat in his Tommy coat with his fucking knitted mittens from a company that he put out of business. But outside of that, nothing else really happened. But okay, Trump plans to live in Mar-a-Lago, employ some current aides. Oh, okay, cool. So who's involved with these current aides? Trump aides who may work for him after the White House include Nick Luna, the director of the Oval Office operations, and Trump's body man, Molly Michael, a deputy assistant to Trump, and Cassidy Hutchinson. Huh, cool. And as we get into this stuff, she was so scared of what Trump did that day, she decided to take a cushy gig at Mar-a-Lago working for him. Oh, okay, cool. And why did you, son, why you leave that off? That's important. That was right there in Bloomberg magazine, right? That's a pretty reputable outlet, right? And at least for what you'd consider in today's discourse. But let's get into what she testified to. Okay, they got a stock image here, and at the end of the day, this is all fucking ridiculous. Anyways, ex-White House aide, Trump knew rioters had weapons, demanded to go to the Capitol. Oh my God. Cassidy Hutchinson, the former aide to Mark Meadows, President Donald Trump's chief of staff, testified Tuesday that Donald Trump demanded to go to the Capitol after his January 6, 2021 speech at the Ellipse and became violent with the Secret Service when they refused. What? Trump, who is also simultaneously in the same ranks of Steven Seagal when it comes to disposing of federal agents, but then also simultaneously isn't even physically capable to be walking down a shallow incline of a ramp by himself unassisted? Interesting. Trump is whatever you need him to be whenever it fits whatever narrative you're pushing. Okay, I get it. But Joe Biden, on the other hand, is totally, completely sound and a perfect mind. And if you say anything else, you're an insurrectionist and a fucking deviant. Her testimony came as the House Select Committee investigations of the Capitol attack released National Security Council chat log showing how security officers tried to stop Trump from walking to the Capitol. I think they were successful, by the way, because I don't ever remember him returning to the Capitol building, but okay, you do you. Moguls going to the Capitol. They are clearing a route now. A message timestamped 12:29 p.m. said using Trump's codename, I guess, Mogul. That makes sense, because what was Reagan? Eagle or something like that? I can't quite remember, but they all have little cute names, like Clinton was rapist, and Kennedy actually had two. He used to have old meth head, and then it just became Pop Goes the Weasel. But it's not exactly, out of line to have a code name, of course. They are finding the best route now. Mill Aide has confirmed that he wants to talk. They're begging him to reconsider. Huh, exactly. It's almost like they want to go back, and then they eventually did go back to the White House, as opposed to go down to the Capitol. Okay, but this was at 12:29, so, okay, if he was leaving, okay, so the break-in at the Capitol had already happened, so they turned away from going to the Capitol, therefore Trump wouldn't be a part of it. Oh, okay, cool. So how is this supposed to make it seem like there was an insurrection and that somehow Trump is linked to this because he wasn't even there? But okay, still. All right. Trump's motorcade eventually took him back to the Oval Office instead of the Capitol. We know. Did you need a fucking committee hearing for this? Hutchinson detailed Trump's anger in the moments after the speech as his supporters then marched on the Capitol. They already had, or at least the more violent sect that may or may not have been there from 4 miles away, and 20 minutes began their break-in 20 minutes before the speech ended. But hey, those are just little details. We don't need to get everything correct, right? She said she learned what happened inside the presidential limo known as the Beast. And that it is, because we actually got a picture of the Beast right here. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and change perspective on this one real quick, because we are just a little bit out of sorts when it comes to showing off everything. And we're still going to miss, what can we see? Fuel tank, okay, it's armor plated, and bodywork, you can't really see that, but you can see everything else except for bodywork. So I'll just go ahead and read bodywork. Military grade armor, at least 5 inches thick, a combination of dual hardness, steel, aluminum, titanium, and ceramic to break up projectiles. That's nice. A big, nice Cadillac. Okay. Yep. Cadillac Escalade. That's it's got an extra compartment, extra long leg room. Okay. So again, very nice. It's got doors, lots of doors, by the way, and yes, and a bifurcated compartment where you got the driver up front, and then you got plenty of room for seats. In fact, 2 seats, right? Armor plated, 8 inches thick, and the way to the cabin door of a Boeing 757 jet. When closed, they form 100% seal to protect the occupants in the event of a chemical attack. Okay, yeah, that's from the door, but what about a presidential attack? That'll be very serious, very, very soon. Seats the president, the rear compartment here, seats the president and up to 4 passengers with a glass partition. Only Trump has a switch to lower it. Car has a panic button and its own oxygen supply. Delightful. A chauffeur trained by the U.S. Secret Service to cope with the most demanding of driving conditions, including escape and evasion, handed 180-degree J-turn. Awesome. I remember when they tried to make, what was that, SUVs or trucks, still have the same kind of super maneuverability when it comes to independent suspension, where you could make those sharp hairpin turns. Boy, that lasted for a hot second and just never did catch on, now did it? But I showed you guys that picture because there's a compartment. Okay, and there's a window that only Trump can roll down, by the way. Just a window, that is, a chauffeur compartment. Okay, so it's basically the front cab, and it's completely separate. It's almost like it's just cargo in the back, okay? The driver drives and the passengers passenge, okay? Hutchinson detailed Trump's anger in the moments after his speech as his supporters then marched on the Capitol. Oh my God. She said she learned what happened inside the presidential limo known as the Beast from Secret Service official Tony Ornato. Secret Service agent Bobby Engel was also involved in the conversation and had been in the vehicle with Trump. Cool. Where was Hutchinson though? She's the one testifying. I'd imagine these guys are probably still on the payroll, or you could subpoena them. But no, you're getting secondhand information from somebody who wasn't in the presidential limo at the time. And oh god, this is just a little bit inconvenient, but Trump actually wasn't in the Beast after he was leaving anyways. Yeah, he's in a Suburban. That's a Suburban. That's not the Beast at all. So yeah, he went from the speech at the Ellipse and then went back to the White House. So yeah, kind of really thoroughly discredits any of her testimony. So we'll just go ahead and read the rest of this for laughs at this point, because this is all just fucking made up. Okay. Tony proceeded to tell me that when the president got in the Beast. Yeah, so she's not really confusing it for anything else, okay? It was definitely, this all was happening inside the limo. You were either lied to or you're making up this story, because you know what else is trending right now on Twitter? I don't know if you can necessarily see it off to the side. Oh, it was earlier. Amber Heard 2.0 was trending, and it was all in reference to Cassidy Hutchinson here. She did try, though. She tried really hard to make it seem like there was something going on there. Kind of like that entire panel. Okay. Tony proceeded to tell me that when the president got in the Beast, he was under the impression that Mr. Meadows, that... on the impression from Mr. Meadows that the off-the-record movement to the Capitol was still possible and likely to happen, but Bobby had more information. But again, Secret Service officials are there, so how are you going to be doing this off the record, and still you didn't go to the Capitol? So again, these are all conversations that might have happened, but they didn't bore out. So again, was a proof? Nothing. Okay, the president had a very strong, very angry response to that. Tony described him as being irate. Why would he be telling somebody who is just a coffee fetcher for Mark Meadows? Like, none of this makes sense. The degrees of separation here for people, it's astronomical. But she's pretty girl. I mean, like, come on, would somebody like that be lying? I doubt not, right? Of course. Anyways, yeah, Tony. Okay, this is Secret Service official Tony Ornato. By the way, okay, telling somebody else on the president. Okay, none of this makes any sense. Anyways, okay, the president had a very strong, very angry response to that. Tony described him as being irate. The president said something to the effect of, okay, again, something to the effect of, this is therefore reason and justification that we should keep Trump out of the White House for 2024. Get fucked. I'm the effing president. Language. If it's Trump, he would have said fucking. Just say fucking, okay? You're under oath, stupid. You're supposed to be able to recite everything that you made up on the fly. Take me to the Capitol now, Bobby responded. Sir, we have to go back to the West Wing. Hutchinson added, oh my God. The president reached up toward the front of the vehicle to grab the steering wheel. Through the partition, huh? Okay, in a vehicle that they weren't even in. Okay. All right. Mr. Engel grabbed his arm and said, Sir, you need to take your hand off the steering wheel. We're going back to the West Wing. We're not going to the Capitol. And again, he would have been sitting in the back of a vehicle. Okay, we actually got some video, right? As you can see there, Trump is getting into that Suburban that I showed earlier. Okay, I could actually enlarge this if we really like. Okay, no need to play any of it. But Trump is sitting... not entirely sure, but he's sitting, you know, behind the driver. He would be in the back there. Okay, that would still be bulletproof glass. Let's see if we can see the on the transition here. Okay, so here comes Trump wearing one of those goofy masks, and then okay, cut. So this was actually played, that was in there. Okay, he's right there in the back. I guess the second row that would have been. So yeah, theoretically it could play, but again, all of that stuff is played up, and yeah, you can see the Chevy ribbon on the back there. That ain't no motherfucking Cadillac, so that ain't the goddamn Beast. Okay, so I don't know, man. All of this seems fantastical. Like, why would a Secret Service member snitch on somebody, okay, to somebody who has zero consequence in this? Like, it makes no sense whatsoever, but it makes for a fun story, and I guess it makes for some, you know, clickable moments from the stupid hearings that nobody gives a fuck about. Mr. Trump then used his free hand to lunge towards Bobby Engel, and when Mr. Ornato recounted this story to me, he motioned toward his clavicles. Okay, so what, he was going to choke choke out the driver. And again, okay, how would he lunge towards him if he's sitting behind him backwards? Okay, so he'd lunge towards him from behind, but then not grab him first, okay, because he's behind him. He would just grab the steering wheel and then lunge for the... Like, none of this is really making all that much sense, okay? Like, I'm trying to be as charitable as possible, right? Okay, you're being told this very credible story, okay, and then we just seen Trump get into a Suburban, okay? The whole beast thing, okay? It's always just assumed that the presidential limo would be there, okay, and that would be Trump's normal mode of transportation, okay? So we'll just go ahead and believe that, okay? She was told that, or she maybe just assumed that, okay? But again, just the physics of this, okay? Trump not in the front seat, okay? Reaching over a man who's driving to grab the steering wheel in hopes of what exactly? That seems, okay, just far too absurd and not even remotely rational to begin with, but... All right, sure. How would Trump get to the Capitol, okay, by just using the steering wheel and then just allowing the driver to drive? Okay, that don't make no sense, but whatever, okay. And then then try to choke out the driver because he's not going to the place, and then he won't get out of the way so you can drive to the Capitol. Like, what? No, none of this makes any sense. But he was very mad, I guess, somebody told me. In a different vehicle. Hutchinson also testified that White House officials were aware that members were violent far-right groups. Which ones and what is far-right exactly? The Proud Boys? Cool. Can we point to anything about their principles that are actually far right, okay? Other than the fact that they know 10 cereals and they don't have any women in their organization. They have Proud Boys girls, but when it comes to the Proud Boys specifically, and the Oath Keepers, ooh, the Constitution, they like to uphold that. Ooh, big scary. And then... what? Like, what? The Klan? Are we also pointing at... Democratic establishments, but I didn't remember seeing any hoods that were there that day, but okay. But anyways, oh yes, far-right groups had planned to attend Trump's rally on Capitol Hill and felt things might get real bad. Oh my god, she felt like merch. She said the concerns came up during White House conversations involving Meadows, Trump, and Trump's lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, who got the fuck slapped out of him in New York. In the days leading up to Congress's certification of the Electoral College votes for Joe Biden. Well, actually, it would have happened that day. So again, when were these conversations taking place? Whatever. I recall hearing the word Oath Keeper and hearing the word Proud Boys closer to the planning of the January 6th rally when Mr. Giuliani would be around. Oh my god, I recall hearing words at a time unspecifically by a man who's not Trump. Again, what are we doing here? Hutchinson said in a recorded deposition given on a previous date. Hutchinson recalled a conversation that she had with Meadows after Giuliani told her something to the effect of, we're going to go to the Capitol. Okay, fine. Again, whatever. We're going to the Capitol. And guess what? Plans changed. Meadows was scrolling through his phone. Hutchinson said, yeah, exactly, because it was just old man doddering. He's like, yeah, that's nice. That's nice, Rudy. That's nice. The hair dye looks very natural. Okay. I remember learning, leaning against the doorway and saying, I just had an interesting conversation with Rudy. Mark, it sounds like we're going to the Capitol. He didn't look up from his phone and said something to the effect of, there's a lot going on, Cass, but I don't know. Things might get real bad on January 6th. Oh my god, did Mark Meadows testify and corroborate any of this stuff, or are you just being fantastical again? That evening was the first moment I remember feeling scared and nervous for what could happen on January 6th. Oh my god, look at that, your boss being a pussy, and then you realize that, oh fuck, maybe this whole idea of me putting into trust into just, anybody out there maybe is a little bit stupid. But again, these are all just feelings, okay? Can you just, tie anything up? It's like, okay, things might get crazy on January 6th. So does that mean we're all going to die? I don't think so. But I feel like on the day of the rally, she said Trump became furious that security officials were preventing armed supporters from attending the rally because he was concerned about the crowd size. Okay. Again, she said Trump became furious. Did you meet with him, or were you, again, just talking to Secret Service members who might have been around in a different vehicle? Whatever. I was in the vicinity of a conversation. Oh, okay, so I've heard bits and pieces that just try to lend legitimacy to my testimony, you believe me, right? Heard the president say, I don't care that they have weapons. They are not here to hurt me. Take the effing mags away. Let my people in. They can march to the Capitol after the rally is over. Yeah, no, exactly. What's wrong with any of that stuff, by the way? Okay, like I believe none of it to begin with. But again, okay, take the magazines away. Separate the magazines from the firearms, which might be a little bit of a restriction. But again, how many firearms were actually recovered that weren't issued by the federal government at the Capitol? All right, 0. But a whole lot of zip ties, and those are scary too. Representative Bitch, the ranking member of the House Committee, took issue with Trump encouraging the crowd to march on the Capitol after the speech, knowing they were armed with weapons and armor. I was going to say body odor because whatever. But again, let's get specific with the weapons. A flagpole with a flag. I guess if you get close enough, you could smother somebody, I guess. And somebody who was wearing body armor. Well, I hope that's you, Liz, because something needs to explain the extra poundage that you put on. Hutchinson said Meadows didn't appear to be concerned when he was alerted by security officials that rally attendees were armed with knives, bear spray, guns, and flagpoles. Again, how many guns were there? We've seen some bear spray, but again, how much of it was actually deployed? Very little. Oh, okay. Outfitted with spears on the end. Oh, okay, cool. We haven't seen that yet. Maybe that's some more of that surprise evidence that we're eventually gonna get whenever, I don't know, they see too much of a dip in their ratings for this fucking fiasco. In recorded testimony, this bitch was there. Why the fuck do you have to play over recorded shit? I guess, you probably had to edit that and spice it up with all your visuals that were there that kind of contradict previous testimony. He was in the Beast. Here he is in a Suburban. Oh, fuck. He was mad, though. How scared did you feel, Miss Hutchinson? Yes, in the recorded testimony, Hutchinson said Meadows, objection hearsay, told White House counsel Pat Cipollone that Trump didn't want to stop the violence at the Capitol. I remember Pat saying to Meadows something to the effect of, the rioters have gotten to the Capitol, Mark. We need to go down and see the president now. Oh my God, 2 other guys who aren't Trump were saying things. Cool, great. Okay, and Mark looked up at him and he said, he doesn't want to do anything, Pat. Oh my God, we're just going to stand here and then just hope that the fires don't reach us. Ugh. This is going to be the part of the biopic that gets produced by Hollywood where there's nice sad music underneath. It's like, oh my God, the Orange Man has just gone crazy in his Cheeto rage and there's nothing we can do. Hopefully he just comes to our senses, and then the music swells at that point. Ugh. Hutchinson recounted another incident in December of 2020. Oh my God, this is when they had the big risk board out on the table and they were just planting different people and, hey, black and yellow polo shirts. Those guys go over here, and then the fat guys with the American flags are over here, and then they perform a pincer maneuver on the Capitol building, and it all just depends on if the Capitol Police let them in, because they aren't going to be breaking anything down. We leave that to Antifa, okay? They just show up and do their own thing, and when they get caught breaking in, okay, they get booed down until they stop. Okay, cool. But again, the very sophisticated plan we're talking about here. But in December of 2020, Trump threw his lunch against the wall. Oh my God, he threw his... what? Are you kidding me? Trump threw his lunch away? I've seen Trump around this time. He was not throwing away any meals, okay? But he did against the wall in the White House dining room after the Associated Press published an interview with then Attorney General Bill Barr, oh my God, in which he said the Justice Department hadn't found evidence of widespread fun times during the election. I remember reading that as well and thinking, wow, Bill, you really did a bang-up job there by looking at none of the evidence, like everybody else. Wonder why you'd go to the Associated Press of all things. Really makes you think about that and gets the old noggin jogging, but not too much, okay? She said Meadows attended a meeting with Trump in the dining room and then noticed, why's the spaghetti on the wall? Why'd you waste all the good food? About the Barr interview after Mark had returned. If you're so integral to all this stuff, if you're the big surprise witness, okay, why weren't you, maybe a part of these meetings or something like that? Oh, it's just because she was some aide that showed up and worked for the chief of staff for a minute. cool. Oh, after Mark had returned, I left the office and went down to the dining room, and I noticed that the door was propped open, and I just remember looking and staring at the wall and seeing the orange splot on there and just the one noodle that was left, and I was wondering, what could I have done to prevent any of this tragedy from happening? Ugh. Yeah, valet inside the dining room, changing the tablecloth off the dining room table. Yeah, after everybody had finished eating. Imagine that. He motioned for me to come in, and they pointed toward the front of the room where the fireplace mantle and the TV. And I first noticed that the ketchup dripping down the wall because, the Trump likes to eat his steak with ketchup. Oh my God, what a monster! His shattered porcelain plate on the floor. Oh no. Hutchinson said the valet told her Trump had become extremely angry at bar. Again, what does this have to do with an insurrection, though? I don't get it. And had thrown his lunch against the wall. In recorded testimony at the hearing last week, Hutchinson told the committee that several Republican lawmakers had sought pardons from Trump after the Capitol attack. Yeah, no, exactly, because they knew that the Democrats that were coming in were vindictive cunts, and they would try to literally get rid of everybody who is their political adversary, okay? They included Representative Matt Gaetz. Remember that story where they were trying to get him out of office? Remember that whole tax situation? No, it was the person who snitched on Matt Gaetz ended up being a part of a big tax op, okay? And he was moving youngins across state lines, which now all of a sudden looks a little bit hypocritical if Democrats want to start prosecuting other people for. Mo Brooks of Alabama, who's supposed to be testifying next time they convene this fucking sham, I guess, but whatever. Andy Biggs, right, yeah, no, they wanted to pillory him for his association with America First and Catboy Nick Fuentes, the old cum detective. Louis Gohmert of Texas, and Scott Perry of Pennsylvania. All these people who they're big fucking mad at, okay? And again, what's wrong with seeking a pardon, okay? It doesn't mean you've done anything. That just means that you're going to be immune from the prosecution from the upcoming political show trials, because it's not like you've expressed and demonstrated your propensity to be doing this exact same shit. So yeah, no, how about cut that off at the pass? Hutchinson's in-person testimony on Tuesday came in a hearing that was scheduled at the last minute on Monday. Yep, surprise, we've got this bitch. But Trump, by the way, he was out there on good old Truth Social, just blasting the truth and what he was thinking about this, because we went through everything that was important. Okay, Trump tried to commandeer the presidential limo. Wasn't in the limo, okay, and he's extremely angry a couple of times. Cool, great, wonderful, fantastic. What did Trump have to say about this? Because he was actually there. Like, we could verify he was there. So these are some truths from Truth Social. Don't know what the fuck it is. Don't know what the fuck it's called. Can't get access to it. Never got my invite or anything like that. I guess I'm just hating from outside the club, right? But we got some screen shares from it for everybody to see, okay? I hardly know who this person is, Cassidy Hutchinson. Other than I heard very negative things about her. Total phony and leaker, and when she requested to go to my certain others of the team to Florida after my having served a full term in office. Yeah, no, we got the reports from Bloomberg, okay? This isn't like a sympathetic outlet or anything. That was in Bloomberg, so whatever. I personally turned her request down, so guess who's big fucking mad about this? Oh, fuck, no, I don't have a political future, so what am I going to do? Well, I see Kissinger up there, and I see Cheney, and it's like, how can I join in on this this career self-immolation? I know, I'll make up a story. Anyways, why did she want to go with us if she felt so terrible? I understand that she was very upset and angry that I didn't want her to go or to be a member of the team. She is bad news. Yeah, no, exactly. She got that 1,000 cocks there, so you dodged a bullet here there, Don. Her fake story that I tried to grab a steering wheel on the White House limousine in order to steer it to the Capitol building is sick and fraudulent. Why sick in quotation? I miss this guy's tweets. Very much like the unselect committee itself. Wouldn't even have been possible to do such a ridiculous thing. Her story of me throwing food is also false. And why would she have to clean it up? I hardly knew who she was. Never complained about the crowd. It was massive. Yeah, it was. It was like several 100,000 people. It was fucking crazy. Anyways, I didn't want or request that we make room for people with guns to watch my speech. Who would ever want that? Not me. Besides, there were no guns found or brought into the Capitol building, so where were all of these guns? But sadly, a gun was used on Ashley Babbitt with no price to pay against the person who used it. Yeah, no, exactly. And at least until he gave his... Oh God, what was that? I think that was Lester Holt on NBC Nightly News. You got all your videos scrubbed from the internet if you referenced Michael Bird. Is that his name? I was just doing my duty. Yeah, sure thing. Trump continues. Cheney conveniently left out the snippet in my speech to go peacefully and patriotically. Oh, what did they play? Fight like hell. And if you don't fight like hell, you won't have a country anymore. So we're going to go down to the Capitol building. And then, yeah, after that, he says, we're going to go peacefully, patriotically. Isn't she disgraceful? Yeah, that's all right. She'd be gone soon, though, because I think the primary in in Wyoming, where she hasn't been, okay? It's almost like that's the Capitol building, okay? And her campaign right now is just trying to steer her back and stay in Washington because you got a very important job to do. Being what? I don't know, welded to that fucking chair, you fat ass. She changed laws a couple of days ago. With it, her story totally changed. Shocker. Yeah, no, exactly. Speaking about the red flag laws, by the way. This one, if I blow up it, you can't really read most of it. It just gets bifurcated anyways. There is no cross-examination in the so-called witness. This is a kangaroo court. Yeah, exactly. Everybody's just kind of having a good laugh at it at this point. So what's the point? It's just all opening arguments, okay? Like, what's going to come out at the end of this? See how bad Trump is? And everybody's like, yeah, we don't care because under Trump, we could actually, like, heat our houses and afford a full tank of gas. Like, that was terrible. It's like, oh, no, yeah, mean tweets are bad and all, like, gas. But you know what's even worse? Hungry families. Anyways, a total phony. I never said Mike Pence deserved it, even though I kind of did, to be hung. Oh, yes, another made-up statement by a third-rate social climber. Ooh. Oh, look, and Trump is playing the amateur buddy language interpreter. Her buddy language is that of total bullshit. Artist. Fantasyland. Fucking guy's hilarious. But yeah, man, this is all going to be forgotten in the next couple of days anyways, because it's just going to get taken apart even further from here. Cassidy, oh, there, you can see it. You can actually see it right there. See, I'm not making this stuff up. See, it's the trend. It's right here. Ooh, right underneath Trump with Cassidy Hutchinson. January 6th hearings. Entertainment. Amber Heard 2.0. I'll just click on it here for a second. Amber Heard is now officially the Amber Heard 2.0 of the phony January 6th hearings. What a complete clown show. Yeah, no, exactly. So... yeah, man, much ado about nothing. I'm sure it'll be making the headlines for at least a little while. Oh, Trump tried to look at how much of a terrorist he is. He tried to drive the limo of peace into the Capitol building. Okay, that'll be a big article to write, but don't think they won't try it. I really don't know how much longer these are supposed to go on for, but I got a good idea. When's a good stopping point? Oh, I don't know, probably like the first week of November, so anticipate more cringe-worthy shit like this. Not my video, I had fun time making it, just the subject material's just fucking ridiculous. With all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.